All right, welcome back to another edition of Melly News. Today is May 3rd, 2021, and we're going to get started. All right, so we look at the market futures before they open up today. Look at the S&P, Dow, Nasdaq. They were all swinging to the upside just before the market opened in a few hours. All right, so we prepared that could change as well too. All right, we'll switch over as we do. Look at the FTSE 100 is up, the Nikkei 225 is down as well. We got Bitcoin. Bitcoin is swinging back and forth, but it's up above 58,000, closing in on 59,000 once again. And you have CMC Crypto 200 is up as well as too. All right. All right, let's take a look at the 10-year bond. The 10-year bond is important. That's the level of debt out there. So there's 1.6310. All right. Well, to look at the VIX is up as well too. Take a look at some currencies here. We have the GDP to the US dollars up, and the US dollar to Japanese yen is up as well too. All right. Sorry about that. So that being said, that was from yahoofinance.com. So let's go ahead and switch over to keiko.com. We'll take a look at the market, the world spot price for precious metals. If you see, look at here, look at the price of gold is up, silver's up, platinum is unchanged, palladium is up, and rhodium is sitting at 29,000 asking price. We go by the asking price, not what they bid up, not at the bid. All right. Sometimes the bid is different from what the asking price is. All right. So that's what we go by. All right. And then look at the silver. Look down the ratios of gold. Look, it's 68.19 for ounces of silver to gold. We see that trending downward as well too. That equilibrium is getting ready to kick in, and so going if you can, let's go and get some of that physical silver to hold in your hand. All right, as well as other precious metals that if you can afford it. All right, because I can't afford everything. All right, we definitely can't afford everything at this channel here. All right, so let's take a look at the asking prices in different currencies. All right, look at that in Australia. The asking price for gold is 2,300 Australian dollars. All right, silver's up as well. All right, Swiss franc, which they have a strong currency, which it seems a little bit down as well too. That's why they seem more down than the U.S. because the Swiss franc they have a strong currency. All right, they don't blow their money away like we do here in the U.S. All right, then take a look at the Brazilian. The Brazilian real. Look at that. $142 asking price, and 10 cents asking price for silver for a real, the brother in the real. All right. Let me take a look at that one. That was from keiko.com. So let's actually get into some news here. This is from zerohedge.com. Biden prepares for stealth food increase without 20% without a congressional approval. So he's just going to automatically give out more and more money. All right. This is how they're hiding inflation and decide to try to convince people that the market is that the actual economy is actually doing good. But if it's doing so good, then why do you need to bypass Congress to increase food stamps? All right. Take a look at that, family. That's not a good thing. It's a good thing because it helps people buy food. All right, if I can get food stamps, I'll be getting it as well too. All right, I'll be using it and I'll be buying food as much as I could. All right, but in the overall context, look at it. That's not a good thing if they having to bypass Congress to go ahead and increase the food stamps. All right, to pay out to people. All right, let's use our thinking caps and put it on and look at the overall big picture. Yes, in the short term, yes, it helps everybody out, but in the long term, that spells disaster for the economy. All right, and as it becomes evidently clear that the U.S. has lost the world's reserve currency status and our economy is in free for all. All right, that people are gonna wake up to realize, hey man, these tricks and gimmick tricks just gonna keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. Meanwhile, the economy is steady crashing. All right, before your eyes. Doesn't matter what they do on these financial news channels because they're paid suits and dresses, and as let me say, they're paid empty suits and dresses to give you false propaganda. But look out what's going on in the regular streets out here, and you will see that the economy is actually in really terrible shape and getting worse every single minute of every day. All right, so we'll look up this story, get it from zerohedge.com. All right, Biden is going to increase food stamps 20% without congressional approval. All right, and we go to the next article. Speaking of the U.S. government debt, all right, look at the this is from fee.org. All right, fee.org, Foundation for Economic Education. All right, U.S. government debt to GDP worse than Greece before 2008 crash. All right, and it's about to get worse. All right, and basically they come out with some good information here. Biden just released a 1.8 trillion dollar plan, represented just weeks after he signed a 1.9 trillion dollar COVID relief bill, spending into law, including free colleges, free community colleges, as well as university preschool for all 3 and 4 year olds. All right, this money has to come from somewhere. All right, they're borrowing from now, and they're borrowing from us now, so our children can pay later, long after we're dead and buried and turned to dust already. All right. Sorry about that. This is what they're doing. All right. He's just spending money left and left, right, left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right, and he asked the congressional people to approve it as well too. All right. Most of them just going to keep throwing money at everything and thinking that's going to solve the problem. Meanwhile, we're getting worse and worse in the debt. All right. You may not think about the inflation. You may not think the purchasing power of your dollar is going down, but they're hiding it. Look at the amount of product. Look at the amount of ounces in the food and the products you buy. All right, those ounces are steady dwindling down. Look at the ounces compared 15 years ago in the product you bought compared to ounces there and now. They're totally different. They're shrinking, and this is how they're hiding some of the inflation. All right. Yeah. So this is how they're going in more and more ways to figure out a way to hide the inflation so people don't know it. All right. And overall, since Biden's administration they took over, since they took over January 20th, the United States of America Corporation, they've effectively dropped $2.3 trillion deficit in 2021. It looks like they're going to keep going, adding more and more debt, and they're going to keep throwing money at the problem. All right. When in fact you shouldn't throw more money at the problem. You need to look at the finances and figure out, okay, we need to cut back here as well too. All right. So people keep touting these packages they keep throwing out, these trillions and trillions of dollars they keep throwing out, but this somehow is gonna you pretty much is gonna come back. The chicken's gonna come home to roost. All right. And then for our final story of the evening, for this morning's address, all right, look at here. The central banks remain net buyers of gold in Q1 of this year. So remember, we talked about how different types of quarters. All right, you got your calendar year quarters, and then you got your fiscal year quarters. Remember, the calendar year quarters start January 1st and end December 31st in Q4. All right, Q1, January 1st through March 31st. Q2 is April 1st through June 30th. July 1st through September 30th is Q3, and October 1st to December 31st is Q1. And the fiscal year is different. The fiscal year ends September 30th, and the new fiscal year starts 1 October. All right, so from 1 October to September 30th is actually the fiscal year. All right, so that's different. So get into the story here. The central banks are buying their buyers of gold in Q1. So central banks are continuing to accumulate gold and all sorts of precious metals throughout the all year, while they're telling us in these so-called empty suits and dresses channels. All right, they continue us that gold is a relic. It's don't buy it. It's just you can keep it to look at it. But if that's the case, then why are these central banks around the world buying it by the boatloads? All right, I want to say something else, but they're buying it by the boatloads here. All right. So if they come out and tell you that, hey man, gold, you don't need to buy it. It's a dead relic. Don't worry about it. Just something pretty to look at. But then watch their actions. Don't pay attention to their words. Watch their actions. They've been buying up gold left and right. The Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, Bank of Japan, all these central banks around the world are continue to just hoarding gold and other precious metals left and right. All right, we had a news story about the Chinese have reopened their gold buying. All right, they're recouping their gold and recouping their gold reserves along with their silver and other precious metals. All right, as well. So with that being said, we want to thank you for joining the story, but we got a little bonus coverage that we want to show you here as well too, and this is very interesting. All right, we go to usdebtclock.org. All right. Once again, take a look at the U.S. national debt. All right, as well too. All right. So if you look at the U.S. national debt, is outstanding, representative of the face amount of principal amount. All right, of marketable, non-marketable securities and outstanding. All right, that's the U.S. national debt. All right. So let's go down here, look at the gross domestic product, how much the U.S. takes in, $22 trillion in gross domestic product that we take in as well too. All right, so we're still operating well above our means of what the nation earns. All right, that's still unsustainable as well too. That is just about 200. You operating at 108% of national debt. All right, we earn $22 trillion GDP, but we have 28 trillion in national debt. All right, and total U.S. debt, it says $86 trillion. So if you go back up here, look at the GDP to the U.S. Gross domestic product to the total U.S. debt, we are unsustainable levels. All right, this is untenable. We cannot last with this much longer as well too. But we want to take a look at somewhere down here. All right, look at the total U.S. national assets, 161 trillion, and then we switch over here. Let's look at the total U.S. Unfunded liabilities, 147 trillion. All right, something happened. We're still looking into it at this channel to figure out, because this is actually at one point we were operating at 101% of debt to GDP. All right, for us, all unfunded liabilities versus U.S. total national assets. All right, so we're gonna look more into this story here to figure out what's going on and what happened with this and why such a dramatic change. All right. So we went from $162 trillion in unfunded liabilities to $147 trillion. So we want to keep stand by for that. We'll have more showing about what's going on with that one as well. All right. So once again, I want to thank you for joining us another edition of Melanie Gamma News. Be safe, be sound. Remember, you're your own best banker. You're your own best financier. You're your own best savings and loans. You're your own best credit union. All right. You're your own best banker. All right, get that barter system started with your neighbors. Get that barter started with your communities. Reach out to other communities. Get it started. Remember, all politics is local, and it will start and end at the local level. All right. Thank you for joining us. This is Melanie News. Be safe, and let's get it started.